Welcome to the amazing world of pony comics. I'll be your guide through these vast amounts of lore and stories and character development that many of you have never even heard of. The comics are a little bit of a niche thing in the pony fandom, but I've made it my calling to get people to know about them, because there are so many amazing stories that just need to be seen by more people. Starting with a backstory for King Sombra, some more lore in Chrysalis, and many more things. And the thing I want to start with is something I wanted to talk about for ages. This is the third time I'm holding this panel. I plan to talk about it in each of the other ones. So now I'm going to just start with it so that I get to it. And it's the war between the yaks and the dragons. I mean, it's not something we expect to see, like a full-on war between two species in MLP, especially the yaks and dragons. When you hear that, you are immediately confused. Like, what are the yaks supposed to do against flying and fire-breathing monsters? Not a lot, actually. But they are trying their best. I need to adjust the settings a bit so that this works better, so that I can actually see what I'm doing here. Yeah, the yaks and dragons have had a peace treaty for years and years, but recently there has been an upset. Okay, I forgot to confirm. Might change. There has been an upset in the yak and dragon contract that they've made millennia ago. Because while we know the Dragon Lord Amber and the yak Prince Rutherford, there obviously have been kings and queens before them. And this comic shows us the story of how they met. No, this one. There are a lot of comic issues, okay? Even I can confuse the storyline sometimes. Because the yak and the dragons have fought over the land that is now known as Yakistan. And I kind of would expect the dragons to just take it. And I'm also just a bit confused, because why would the dragons want a land that's full of ice? Like, that's kind of counterintuitive when you think about them needing heat to hatch their eggs. And that's what they thought too. That's why the ancient yak Prince Ulysses and Scintilla, the Dragon Lord of that time, decided to work together to find a better place for the dragons to live. And that's when they discovered the Dragonlands together. And doing that, Scintilla was declared an honorary yak. And if you remember the show a bit like I do, then you remember that happened again with Pinkie Pie. And the dragons didn't like that, because that honorary yak title was supposed to be exclusive to to Dragon Lord Scintilla. And so when the sacred bond was upset, they went and attacked with fireballs raining from the sky. Luckily, they had a little bit of help from the ponies of Ponyville, as well as the Wonderbolts, who again were very useless. They can handle them a little bit, but in general, they just fly around them a bit, and this is the best they can do, and this is with the best two flyers they have. And the amount of dragons that attacks is just way too overwhelming for them to take. It's an amount that you would not expect to see. Like, look at this. This is an entire dragon migration. This is the entire army to take out the yaks for upsetting this little sacred bond. But this is not the only comic story that explores the relations between the different species. There is the so-called Convocation of Creatures, which is a giant parliament of sorts of every species we see in Equestria, and even some beyond Equestria. And that's the next comic I want to show you. You can see a lot of different species here. Queen Novo of the hippogriffs, some griffins and Abyssinian even. I'll talk more about those in a bit if I get to the season 10 comics. Dragonaut Ember, even a buffalo. We don't see them in the show ever again, so at least the comics show us a little bit more. Of course, Princess Celestia, a breezy. Like, I don't even know how it got there. Like, how the fuck did it get to the convocation if they only are able to travel through the lands bit by bit? And here's something that you guys don't know. This is the king of the deer. And the deer are a species living in the everfree forest. They're making use of the nature magic that resides in that forest. They are a comic exclusive. We've seen them very early on in the comics. Maybe I'll show more of that in a bit, but for now I want to show you the convocation. Yeah, everyone arrives at a little central meeting point, similar to the European Parliament. Everyone is just heading there to work together, talk politics, and have like a little fair of sorts at the convocation of creatures. We even see a bad pony over here. And even the changelings have been accepted as part of them as new members of the convocation. Before, they obviously weren't on the chrysalis. They didn't really want to interact with anyone. But Thorax kind of changed that. But you see how nervous he is here. He is not used to being a leader yet. He just tries his best. But the storyline about the convocation of creatures is not exactly about the kings and queens and lords and ladies that we know and love, but about what's going on behind the scenes. Because what does a good bureaucracy need? What do they need? They need bureaucrats, they need people to keep law, keep record of everything that happens. And those are the ones we meet. Okay, before I go there, I want to put your attention to this little panel. Do you ever feel as though you're simply not part of the story? Constantly. Those are species that we barely see in the show. Not that even the comics go into them. The deer have 2 appearances in the convocation and in their own storyline. And the Abyssinians, we see them with Kappa in the 2017 movie, like the cat people. They are called Abyssinians. And then only in season 10, basically. They also have like a little role in the capture of Cosmos, which is another comic storyline. But outside of that, we barely see them. So they kind of make fun of the comic exclusivity here. And, okay, I'm getting this, I want to show you the bureaucrats, but this is more interesting. Like, look at how epic these little wall paintings are. Just to see how the species in Equestria still work together, even though we haven't really seen that in the show. The show doesn't really explore the dynamics between the species as much as I would like. That's why I really like the storyline, to show some of the dynamics. And those dynamics are explored in the library. And of course, Twilight is heading there. She wanted to check out the library, and she meets everyone who is gonna be the main people in this story. The Princess Celestia's archivist, and the Yak archivist, who is actually the only Yak we ever see speaking normal. Like, Yaks can be very sophisticated, and he studied at Oxenford. Like, I like my little real-world references here. And he lost his accent, which is interesting because, like, I never saw the Yak way of speaking as an accent, but apparently it is. And even the changelings have their own archivist now, even if they don't really have a long history to speak of. Okay, they are one of the oldest species that exist, but they haven't had record keeping, at least not really. But it would be funny to imagine Chrysalis just writing a report on the latest invasion, but sadly we never got to see that. And the dragons, of course, are in on it too, and very egotistical about their importance. That's still very dragon-like. I need water. And this entire story will be goes about another treaty that has been kind of broken, kind of been confused. Because what would a comic be without conflict? It's still funny, but not as compelling to read. Because in this comic, the griffins find, the bureaucrats find something interesting about some of the land of Equestria. Because the land that Canterlot is built on is originally from the griffins. The griffins have given the ponies the land to build their own castle town. But according to the records that they find here, is there's a debt about that. Like they owe the griffins money. Of course with a lot of interest. So the amount of money they owe the griffins now, according to the documents that they found, is multiple times the entire treasury of Canterlot. So that's kind of impossible. So the griffins give them one other choice, which is to give back Canterlot. And I don't think that's something the princesses want. So they try the archivists try their best to figure out a way to keep Canterlot in the pony's hooves. Meanwhile, the Council of Griffins, the Council of Griffinstone, is trying their best not to let that happen, because especially this idiot, well, wants that debt to be paid. He is the most annoying Griffin that we have, basically. Was it Lord? The main Griffin is Lord Gestal. Basically, just all Griffins are still named with a G at the beginning, obviously. And yeah, they are still trying to figure out a way to get the get them to keep the land. Like the archivists are working tirelessly the entire night just to keep it going. And luckily, in ancient Yak documents, they find more. They find some little note that the debt already has been paid. So the conflict is resolved very easily once they find it, but they have a long struggle to actually find those documents. And our little Griffin here does not like that. He is trying to sabotage the entire thing by destroying the document. So he is trying to commit fraud, which is very stupid. And he is, at the end, he is expelled from the council when the archivists actually manage to get it to Her Majesty. It's like that's the most exciting thing these archivists have ever done. They're usually just the bookworms, just staying in the corner in the shadow, just working everything from the back. But this time they have to take action, and they do so in a very epic manner by crashing through a window. And that is the most politics you will get from MLP. And I know politics in TV shows is a very critical topic at some points, but I do like to see this little hint of government and bureaucracy that makes the country and world feel more real, because something like that needs to be around. Like, they need to somehow manage everything. And so far we only knew about the princesses. The princesses have been this instance of power, of basically gods just ruling over the mortals. But no, they still have to answer to someone, to this convocation, to this parliament. And it's interesting to see that, at least to me. By the way, if anyone has questions at any point in this, just throw it in or raise your hand or something. Yeah?
What's Twilight's role? Because she's with the archivist, but she should also be a princess.
Yeah, she is a princess. This is her first convocation of creatures. The convocation actually hasn't happened for ages, since before the Storm King attacked. And now that it's happening again and Twilight is around, she wants to experience every side of it. So she has the option of mangling with the royalty, or going, or doing what she does best, going to the library. And that's where she meets the archivist, which kicks the story off. Yeah, this was the extent of what I knew that I wanted to talk about, but there are a lot of comics, so I'm just going to scroll through and just click on a random one. And we'll see which one it is. Oh, this is the last storyline before season 10. So after this we're going to go into season 10. It's a little race. It feels like something that's more something for the Friends Forever comics. The comics have a lot of different like categories. Those are the main Friendship is Magic comics, which is the main series, which has about 102 issues. And then there are the Friends Forever comics, which are more character and interaction focused. Well, these are built on adventure, built on just big stories, big events, like the convocation, or Sombra's return, or this and that, or season 10 in the example we're going to cover soon. And then we have a ton of different spin-off comics. There is, for example, the Nightmare Knights storyline, which is regarded as one of the best the comics have ever put out, which is a redemption story, kind of a redemption story for some of the show villains. It's one of the few instances that MLP goes into the multiverse. Because during that storyline, Luna just gathers a team of previous villains, of reformed villains, to fight by her side to defeat Discord's cousin, Eris, who has enslaved a lot of different universes before, and Luna sees it as her role to stop it. And maybe we are going to talk about it at some point, but now I want to go to season 10. Season 10 starts with somewhere around here. Even I don't know the exact numbers because there are a lot of numbers. Yeah, season 10. Season 10 starts actually with issue 89. You are familiar with the first 9 seasons of MLP, and the comics have decided to follow up on that because they thought that there are stories that have yet to be told. And many people in the fandom don't like these stories because they mess with the lore of the main MLP continuity, specifically with the Tree of Harmony, or I should say, Trees of Harmony. In this story, we are exploring many different countries and kingdoms of different species. They finally used the opportunity we've been given through the 2017 movie and the like to see more of the MLP world outside of Equestria. And oh yeah, Whitley, our guest of honor. He is a big part of the writers team for season 10. He wrote, for example, the story about the zebra homeland of Farazi. We finally visit Zakawa's homeland, which is, everyone has been curious about where she comes from. Does everyone there speak like her? The answer is no. She is the only one who speaks like that. Every other zebra just speaks normally, because Sakura is a special case. She has this little habit of speaking in rhymes because it's magical. As a child, she saw a lot of different books on magic, and especially Mage Metal book, as you can see here. So even outside of Equestria, our heroes of the past are very well known. And she just decided, yeah, speaking in rhymes is magical, I want to do magic, so I'm going to speak in rhymes forever now. And that's a very big commitment to make for a child. And in this story we meet a lot of different characters. For example, a different species, the Abada, which is an eastern version of the unicorn. But I think African? I'm not actually sure. It's an actual mythical creature that we don't know a lot about, which MLP repurposed. I mean, that's what it does every time it takes a mythical creature. And kelpies, just water horses. And those become the main characters of this little arc, because every single kingdom has their own little arc to it. And Ferrazi is actually the first one they visit. It's very much based on Africa and just the savannah. And it's just...
question?
Yeah?
Aside from Catalog and Morning Kingdom, which kingdom do you think the lore is most interesting or intriguing?
That's a good question. I like the different. This season 10 explores the different kingdoms and the different trees of harmony. And one of them is Ornithia, the kingdom where Captain Celano comes from, the parrot pirate. And we learned that the trees of harmony have different, they represent different kinds of relationships. Like the main one in Equestria represents friendship, and the one in Ornithia represents love. So the royal family of Ornithia has a long history of putting couples on the tree, basically, having them as the element bearers, just to keep. That's how the tree works. A couple finds each other, and they get assigned 2 elements. And we see that later on that Captain Celano becomes one of these, because she is gay and gets together with the princess. Yeah, which is also funny to think about, because the song "It's Time to Be Awesome" is now 2 gay flying creatures singing with each other.
Let's go lesbians.
Yeah, I know it's debated if Wimbledon is actually gay, but I'd say it's implied. Yeah.
So I have a question. These couples, is it like many couples or like specific couples? Like we have with like the main 6, like they're like the 6 elements of harmony and
yeah, every different tree has elements again, not always the same as the ones that we have in with the main tree that we know, but they still represent different friendships, not the different friendships, the different kind of virtues. Yeah, issue 100 was an extra big issue, and I think that is the one. Yeah, that is the Ornithia one, where we explore the law of the trees. This is the tree of harmony that we are talking about. The royal couple having the highest seats, and the lower ones for like side branches of the royal family. The tree kind of keeps it in the royal family, which is going to be hard if one of the couples is gay. So who knows if there's going to be a kid that's going to become a successor. But as you can see, only 5 of the chairs are lit up at that point. So only 5 elements have bearers. And as I told you, this spot is gonna be for her. Right next to the princess, who has been a childhood friend of her. This story just kind of relies on that childhood friend getting married to this guy. And just to try to find a new bearer for the element. But yeah, that guy is an idiot and just kind of an asshole, kind of trying to destroy the bonds that the tree built, just to get onto more power himself. Like, it's a political marriage, basically. But yeah, that's not how it ends. Okay, this is the princess, by the way. This is Captain Solano's girlfriend. Okay, not yet, but soon. And she's very knowledgeable about the history of the trees. Okay, here are the elements that this tree represents. Love, family, history, purpose, and patriotism are the bonds that. Wait, never mind, I'm stupid. Those are the meanings of the different trees. Those are the elements of that specific tree. Those are what the trees mean. Love is the one of the Oniphians. Family is the one of the Caninians, the dog people. Not the diamond dogs, surprisingly. The diamond dogs seem to be a separate species. They have their own kingdom, they have their own country.
Was it not made that they were the same species but like exiled?
Yeah, it seems like that. I don't think we've ever...
It was mentioned though by the princess from the dogs.
That could be. I actually don't remember that. I mean, I haven't read that comic in a while. About the... Yeah. Oh yeah, okay, yeah, it's clicking right now, yeah. The diamond dogs are like an offshoot that was exiled. I actually didn't remember that, so it's good that we have someone who has a bit more, like has a bit of extra knowledge, because I know a lot about the comics, but even I can't keep everything. With over 200 issues existing, it's kind of hard to keep track of everything. Yeah. But now back to her, because I like her. She is a history nerd. She knows a lot about the history of the trees of harmony, because the Oniphians were the ones who first planted all the trees. They kind of had a way to search for power spots around the country, around the world, where a tree like that could grow to give birth to the elements, basically, and help keep the country and the world safe. The people who did that are the Knights of Harmony. And the Knights of Harmony is a group of characters we see later on who become the elements of patriotism, the bond of patriotism. We see that a lot with the leader of them. He is very patriotically coded. But first, we gotta see the history of the Trees of Harmony, because the Knights of Harmony just spread seeds around to Pharasi, the land of the zebras, Abada and Kelpie, the Caninians, the Abyssinians, all of which we visit in season 10. So if you want to see more of these species, I really suggest reading them yourself, because I'm just skimming over most of the interesting stuff. But that didn't quite hold. The Knights of Harmony disappeared just because they kind of had a mindset about elements, because it's a strong artifact. If it gets into the wrong hands, it can be used for evil purposes easily. And so the Knights decided, we're gonna try to get the elements for ourselves, just so that we can keep them from the hands of the evil ones. Yeah, I think this fandom is gonna enjoy this too, because it's been a while since we saw Lyra and Bonbon, and they are part of the squad for the Onifia trip. Each of the trips has like a set of characters that helps with whatever investigation they are doing in that country, because season 10 is basically just they explore and try to connect with the other countries in Trees of Harmony, because no country except except the Ornithians even know about their own tree. Like, that's completely wrong. Half of them know about it, half of them don't. Like the Caninians built their kingdom around the tree, similar to the Ornithians, but the Abyssinians have no idea that their tree exists. Basically, maybe the royal family did a little bit, but they don't. Like the knowledge got lost to time. So it's kind of a mystery how that important stuff got lost. Like there are such important tools of power in your country. Like how do you forget about them? But yeah, in this and for Nifia, Lyra and Bonbon are part of the investigation, and Lyra doing her best to follow Bonbon's little escapades, because they are kind of suspicious of our little groom to be the crow that I shot you earlier. Yeah.
I think the reason why the Abyssinians forgot about the tree was because, well, the Kingdom of Abyssia was a totalitarian regime. Like it was probably like known by the state, but like as we explore the world, we see there's like so many stupid little laws that you have to follow.
Yeah.
And we see through the lens of the characters how ridiculous the entire place is, and then they find it, and that's why they don't know about it.
That's a good explanation for the Abyssinians. They just got so lost in their rules that they kind of kept the tree under wraps because it would disrupt their rules. Because one of the main rules in Abyssinia is no magic. So elements that use magic to do basically anything you want are kind of a problem if you have a rule against magic.
Could it also be maybe that they're being kept secret on purpose, so they're not being used?
Not in that case, because even the king didn't really know about the tree in Abyssinia. So that wouldn't really make sense. Only like the Knights of Harmony keep their powers a little bit hidden from the rest of the world, because they have their own country at this point and just keep their tree to themselves, and in the end venture out to try and be disrupt the others.
Is Lyra rocking off on Bonbon, or is the human pose just style of the comic?
I am going to say that Lyra's rubbing off on Bonbon. They are a couple now. We have seen them get married in season 9. So this is their first trip together as a couple, and they go on a spy mission, which is just perfect for them. Like,
I love how she's much more classy.
yeah. But as I said, this guy tries to get everything for himself. He wants to get married to the princess to get the power of the element. But yeah, they discover him. So he is kind of fucked in the end, or not fucked. Yeah. And that's also the moment where Captain Solano goes in, because she touches the empty seat. All throughout this comic, there has been a romantic tension between her and the princess, and this is kind of just to make it easier to decide. Yeah, they are fucking in love, and both of them are very happy about it. Like closet gays, basically. Yeah, very to the detriment of him. But why would you challenge Captain Solano for a sword fight? Like, that is just a show of his idiocy on why his plan didn't work. Just completely overestimating his chances. Yeah, to figure everything out. And then this guy shows up, so kind of destroying the story a little bit. This is one of the Knights of Harmony. Yeah, they have the plan to save the countries that have the Trees of Harmony, but yeah, it's not really what happens in the end. They have good intentions, but the execution is very poor. Yeah, this is the final issue of the comics, of the Friendship with Magic comics. 14 episodes of season 10, basically half a season of MLP, but with a more coherent storyline, with going through the different countries. Yeah, and this is basically just them trying to figure out what's going on. And Discord, they are very mad at Discord because Discord has a history of annoying people, especially the bearers of elements. Yeah.
How gay would you say the comics are overall?
Okay. I mean, if I look at Somber in the comics, I'm gonna be gay. I spent the last PonyCon Holland when I had my panel there just gushing about Somber and getting lost in his eyes. Maybe I'll show that picture later, but I've talked about him so much there that I kind of wanted to focus on other things, because there are so many things in the comics to see that the 1 hour I get for a panel just isn't nearly enough to cover everything. Yeah. Yeah. Discord has a history of messing with the bearers of the elements, and was kind of the reason for the conflict between Knights of Harmony and the other species. So, as usual, Discord is the one who messes everything up. Yeah, they have the Serpent. The Serpent is their depiction of Discord, trying to show that he has been around for ages. Like, there are little tidbits of Discord in the comics that just go beyond our expectations. I mean, he can time travel in the comics. Like, he has a TARDIS, which is like, it's literally a TARDIS. They make multiple Doctor Who references in the comic. Yeah, but he still keeps his little funny side. Occasions when is the perfect outburst, and just the entire Knights of Harmony fighting against Discord. He has a lot of bad experiences with getting hit by the elements. So is definitely the right reaction to it. But he is good now, so everyone obviously tries to help, and he is just only a little bit of the reason why the Knights are so mad at everyone. Yeah, still a valiant effort, but it does not work out in the end. Okay, I just got sidetracked because I saw this face.
Speaking of gay,
that just my thought process just stopped. Yeah.
Trixie is the best, yes.
Second best after Sunburst. No, I'm not. Yeah. We know that even Equestria has different bearers of the elements. We had the Legends of Equestria, the Pillars, who were the first bearers of the elements, which is actually the part that people are upset about in the comics, because, as I said, the Knights of Harmony planted the trees. But they didn't plant the tree that we know, the tree of Harmony, the tree of Friendship. But according to season 7, the Pillars did, which has kind of been retconned now. But the Pillars did plant it, but just happened to find one of these power spots that and poured their magic into it. So that tree was not planted by the Knights, which is another reason why they are very upset with the Equestrians. Yeah, and all bearers of the elements that we have seen in Friendship is Magic just work together to beat the Knights of Harmony, who are just masters of their elements. They've spent their entire life training and working towards this goal of taking over again. Yeah, but there are just too many for them. Like, all of the Knights of Harmony have different abilities that have something to do with an element or another. Like, the leader of them, this lion-looking kind of thing, is the element of loyalty, which for us is Rainbow Dash, but Rainbow Dash isn't the leader for this, for our team, even if she wants to be. But they have the tree of patriotism, the bond of patriotism. And loyalty in patriotism is basically the core concept. And the core concept kind of leads to who the leader is going to be in their little conflict. But yeah, they don't really get to anything, even if they do their best. Look at Cantaloupe being almost destroyed. That would explain why, if it stayed that way, that would explain G5 and why Cantaloupe is destroyed in Gen 5. But that's a whole other story. Yeah.
Full of the.
Yeah. Yeah, okay. That's a reference to a previous comic because in one of the other Season 10 comics, we see them retire. Like, they literally find ways to, like, they are trying to retire still. Just fully. Yeah. But the other bearers of the elements from the other countries, the Ornithians, the Caninians, show up and use their elements to keep everything intact. Because over the journey in Season 10, they worked together, made friends everywhere, as they do, and now have this giant array of friends and element bearers to beat the living shit out of the Knights of Harmony. On that note, I can just show you a bit more about the other element bearers. The Abyssinians over here, with Kappa in the lead. Kappa becomes an element bearer. He is kind of the guide in Abyssinia. And we get a bit of his backstory with this guy, which was his best friend, and then betrayed him. Like, he betrayed Kappa. So that's kind of why Kappa ended up alone and stopped trusting people. That backstory is explored a little bit in the Season 10 comics and a little bit in the movie prequel comics. Like the 2017 movie has their own little comics that explore a bit of Tempest's backstory, a bit of the Storm King, a bit of Kappa, Celano, and even Grubber, like the little hedgehog helper. Yeah?
With so many sub-series now and this is so long, so if I now wanted to start collecting and reading them, how would you recommend you going about this? Just start at 1-1 with the main series, or?
There are attempts to get like a timeline in order for the comics, but if you want the best reading experience, I'd say start with the main series, the 102 issues of the main series. Then you have the best of the best that the comics have, just together. Like, it's a mix of good lore-filled monsters and just some slice of life bits and pieces in there. So that's what I would recommend for most people to start with. And then you can basically go off into any direction you want regarding, depending on what you want to see more of. If you want to see even more lore and interesting stuff like that, read stuff like the Knights of Harmony, not Knights of Harmony, Nightmare Knights, so many knights here, which is just a 5-comic spin-off. I mentioned that earlier. Then we have a little spin-off about the Feats of Friendship, which focuses on the Young Six. There are just a ton of different spin-offs. But before I would get to those, I would read the Friends Forever comics. Those are 36 or 37 issues of character and character interactions. And once you got through these and Friends Forever, you only have the spin-offs left, and then just pick up the pieces wherever you want, because if you know the show, if you have seen the entire show, it doesn't really matter where you start, which ones you read first. You'll understand everything anyways. If I ever get to it, I'll make a proper timeline and share it with people, but that is a fuck ton of work. But yeah, maybe at some point. So first, main Friendship with Magic series, then Friends Forever, and then the spin-offs is my usual go-to. That's how I read them for the first time too. I got into MLP less than 3 years ago, watched the show, and then I wanted more. So I read all the comics in a matter of like a week. I mean, in its entirety, it took like 1 week to watch the show, 1 week to watch to read the comics. So I just jumped headfirst into it, and now I'm here holding panels. It's funny how that happens. Okay. Yeah, I wanted to talk about Kevin because he also seems very gay-coded with his best friend. That's nothing confirmed, it's just like a little hunch.
So they're very gay is what you're saying.
Yeah, she just said I have too many gay friends. Yeah, but it's the last panel of the comics. It's teasing something that we'll never see again. They kind of tried to set up a future for MLP, but they never went with it. It's kind of sad because like Crystal is breaking out. I want to have Chrysalis back. Give me Bug Mummy back. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, the Watcher Pony. He appears in a few different comic issues as like a sort of observer. He isn't in everything, but he appears at times.
Andy Price, I think, always draws him at any time, like up and only Andy Price.
Andy Price tries to include him, yeah.
He has been a bit used as a reference to the Twilight Zone.
Yeah. I'm not too familiar with where the reference comes from, so I'm not the best person to ask for that. My expertise is the comics itself, not where all the references come from. Yeah, the comics are full of references. The Gen 5 comics have No More Mutants reference, which is a big plot point in the Marvel comics. They use their abilities to the fullest. I have 10 minutes left. I have a bit over 10 minutes left. So while I'm seeing those two here, we're gonna go back from the important big stuff to the backstory of how Shining Armor and Cadence met. Because it's one of the cutest things that you'll ever see in the world of MLP. The storyline, nay anything.
But it's not gay.
No, it's not gay. I'm sorry. That is very straight. I know everyone is disappointed by that, but we can't only talk about gay. We need to talk about more than gay. Yeah.
There is a little bit of gay in that comic series with one of Shining Armor's friends cross-dressing and actually trying to fall in love with one of the garden guys.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah. And the story of how they met is they met in school, not the Unicorn Academy that Celestia has, not Celestia School, just a random school. They somehow just met there, and she was already a princess at that point. She went there as the princess of love already. And Shining Armor, as this little guy, is incredibly intimidated by this important and powerful woman, which is understandable. But what he doesn't know, like it's a cliche, it's a very cliche story. But that's what makes it cute. It's like ponies in school, like ponies in high school. We saw it in Equestria Girls, but now with the actual ponies and with Cadence and Shining Armor, like. She is totally in love with him, and he can't imagine it because he thinks she's out of his league. Like popular girl likes the nerd guy. Yes, I said nerd guy. Because Shining Armor is a very big dog. Just here with his friends playing ogres and oubliettes. That kind of bit is why I think that he should have been in the friend group with Big Mac, Discord and Spike, because he is a dog. Let's just get him there. And if you see this face, you might remember that guy. He appears in the show, I think twice. I have two memories of him right now. Once in the escape room during the Road of Friendship, and once in the episode where Fluttershy needs to get more assertive.
Putting your hoof down.
Yeah, putting your hoof down. And and he still looks the same, and he's used as the cliche nerd character, because in that episode, Rarity flirts with him to make him give her something. So yeah, he's kind of used. Yeah, the element of generosity just uses her charms to steal. Yeah, but this is already also where we see Twilight and Cadence hanging out for the first time as a full sitter, and they get along very well. Just spreadsheets. Yeah, because Twilight knew that Cadence was in love with him before he knew, which makes the season 2 finale a bit weird, because she acts like she doesn't know that he and Cadence are a thing, which is a bit weird considering that they have a chance to get together 98.7%. So a lot of compatibility, and he is very visibly mad about it. She knew that would have made it so much easier for him. But making it easier for him is not really what she was after, because what happens? Yeah. But what happens is way funnier. He imagines himself with her. It's adorable. And what he does to impress her is starting a rock band. And it works. She is very much infatuated. This, by the way, is his love rival. This is the popular guy, the jock, who is with Cadence. He wants to be with Cadence. Yeah. And this also has a little reference of little Vinyl getting a cutie mark. So Shining Armor is the reason she got her cutie mark. And this is her dad. He later plays a big role in the big dance, in the big school dance, which everything leads up to.
On the cover with Vinyl, pretty sure there's a watcher pony as well, looking at Vinyl getting a cutie mark.
Yeah, the watcher pony. And Andy Price putting a signature there.
He's always there.
Yeah. If you look for him, you'll find him in Andy Price's work. Okay, I have to tell you why this is happening. Shining Armor isn't able to ask her out because he is a dog and then just devises the plan of going with someone else. That someone else is his friend. But yeah, you see Shirley and Maya just being amazed by that. They also have a little bit of a reference that they think Shining Armor is cute. They talk to each other about him in the comic, just asking if he's available. Not to him, just to each other. And Cadence overhears it. Yeah, where? This is the friend of the jock pony. Yeah, but Cadence obviously knows that it's Poindexter. Poindexter being the name of that pony. Yeah, so she goes in anyways. She knows that she is pretty. And kind of just takes charge, takes initiative, and yeah, that's just a win for Shining Armor right there.
Finals dad is over there.
What do you mean?
The DJ.
Oh yeah, Finals dad. We kind of skipped. I got distracted by the cuteness. Yeah, Finals dad is the DJ for the party. Like father, like daughter. Yeah, and Shining Armor's friends just keep the idiot off him, just so that they have a shot together. Poindexter is very much into that role. Like, he is slaying. Yeah, but the cutest thing still comes with their kiss in the end. And his friends are just cheering him on. And Poindexter is getting taken. Yeah, so everything worked out fine, even for Buck, for the dog.
No.
He is just randomly in the same cafe as them. And this is one of Caden's childhood friends, because Caden's childhood friends are very much into him. Like, when you see Caden's just getting to Shining Armor, you can see her friends jumping onto his sides, just wanting to get in on that. Yeah. So we went over the season 10 comics, we went over so much, and I hope you enjoyed it. This is where I have to end it. I could talk for like hours more, but yeah, this is it. Thank you guys for listening. I'm DocAnubis, you can find me on YouTube. And if you want to talk about comics at any point and see me during the convention, just come up to me and ask me. I'm happy anytime. Thank you.